Welcome to Mother Daughter Projects. I'm Steph.
I'm Vicki.
And today we're going to give a 5-year update on our most popular video here on YouTube, our PVC pipe privacy screen.
And then we're going to head inside and look at another PVC project we did and update that one. And then go look at the gate on the other side of the house and update that.
So first, let's take a look at the PVC pipe privacy screen. Well, it's holding strong. It's been 5 years and we have had really no issues with it at all. It gets a little dirty, so we clean it every now and then with wet and forget. But overall, the construction adhesive that we use to attach everything together has been very strong. Nothing has come loose. And we heard that it might yellow over time, so we spray painted it and we've had no yellowing.
Now the screen is actually held up by a couple of pieces of rebar and it is holding very, very nicely. We've had no problems with it. Initially we had to make some adjustments to get it to be level, but since then it's been fine. And we do take it in if there's a hurricane or we're under a tornado warning, and we do take it in and store it in the garage during bad weather. And there's no problem with putting it back. So it's been great. Been very pleased.
And a year ago, I got a new downspout added, and it actually tucks really nice behind the screen. And if I didn't have the screen, it would definitely be an eyesore. So basically it's a twofer. It hides my trash cans and my new gutter.
And it has to be said, it really adds a really cool visual effect to the front of her house. I love the way it looks from the street. Now, the only thing it does need another coat of paint, and some of the paint is starting to chip, and it just wears. It's right in the direct sun in the morning, so it gets a lot of sun. So we're going to do that and give it a refresh.
All right, let's head to the other side of my house. A year after we made this screen, we made this gate, and it has a similar design, and now it's been 4 years.
Now this gate has not fared nearly as well as the PVC screen, and that's for a variety of reasons. Very early on we had some difficulty with it and we had to redo a few things, and we did share that in a separate video that you can look at. The biggest thing with this gate is the design is very, very heavy, so over time it has started to sag, which means you have to lift it up in order to get out. So the design, aesthetically looks great, but it really doesn't function that well as a gate.
Now, over those 4 years, I've had 2 greyhounds, and I've had a lot of greyhounds, actually, my friends' greyhounds, stay at my house. And I will say it does function to keep the dogs in the backyard. They can't get through it, and they never try to push their way out. Definitely, I'm not saying this would work for a lot of dog breeds, but for greyhounds, it has worked well. Now, it does only have one point of closure, and it is a little loose, so I definitely don't think that if something was to push through that they wouldn't be able to get through.
And I need to point out that this gate is on the north side of Steph's house, and the north side, as you can see, we're in shadows right now. It's in shade most of the day, so it does get a lot more that green algae growth. So there's a lot more maintenance that has to be done on this, and it does get a lot more dirt too. So it is it's a little more high maintenance than the PVC screen in the front.
And we have tried to replace it before. We actually bought a pre-made solution once and we tried to put that in place, but it didn't work for us. So we just scrapped that and we stuck with this. But ultimately, if I stay at this house any longer, I probably do want to put some kind of simple wood gate here. I just have not gotten around to it because it's keeping the dogs in. It's doing its job.
And it works.
So the third place that we use this similar design is inside my house. So let's take a look.
And we're inside now. We're going to give you a little update on this PVC project, and it's going to be a short one.
It's short because we've literally had no issues. It's been 5 years since we installed it, and they're still holding strong. We've had no issues, no movement, nothing accidentally come down and fall on our heads. It just looks like it's always been there. That I had these weird spots in my kitchen area, and they just look like this was always there.
And I really think, I think projects like this are very subjective, but I think it holds up. I don't think it looks dated.
Now, 2 things about it. We decided to use epoxy to add a little pop of color, and I love that design. I think that was a great choice. And 2, Mom thought it would be really cool to mirror the design, and I was like, I guess if you want to go through the trouble of doing that. Well, I think that was totally worth it. I love the mirrored design, and I think it really works well and balances out each side.
Now, we used PVC glue on this project rather than a construction adhesive because we wanted a lot cleaner look. And we initially had some difficulties with it. When we glued it all up, we lifted it up and some of the pieces came out. But once we re-glued those, we've had no issues with any of these pieces falling out or even feeling loose.
We have had some comments saying that this is just a dust magnet, and I will say I'm not a big duster. I don't get up there and dust very often, but I did try to put my camera up there to see, and there is some dust. It really is not a bother for me. If I wanted to, I could get up there and dust it, but it really doesn't look like it's holding a crazy amount of dust. I do have a room air purifier right below that, so I think that helps with some of the dust in this area. And I also change my air conditioner air filter every 90 days, so I keep track of that. And so I don't think there's any extra dust to having this here. That's the update on these 3 projects. The first one is 5 years old, the second one is 4 years old, and this one is 5 years old. So we can safely say this design works and it holds up. So if you're gonna do this, my advice would be for your miter saw, find a blade with the highest tooth count so you get nice clean cuts on your PVC pipe. And for the smaller pipes, it's best to use a PVC ratchet cutter. To attach everything together, I would use construction adhesive. And if you're gonna use it inside or outside, I would still plan to spray paint it because it gives the PVC pipe a more unified look. And if you want to see more details on any of these projects, we'll put a link to the original projects in the description. And you can always find more information about us and our projects at motherdaughterprojects.com. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.